It was Good Friday, on April 14th, 1865, 2 days after Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox, Virginia. President and Mrs. Lincoln made plans to attend the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. John Wilkes Booth, 26, a handsome, well-known stage actor, think of him as sort of the Brad Pitt of his day, made his own plans for the theater that night, and those plans involved a .44 caliber Derringer. Booth had a dark side. He was an obsessed, fanatical supporter of the Confederate cause. Upon learning that President and Mrs. Lincoln would be attending a performance of renowned actress Laura Keene in the popular comedy Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, Booth decided to exact revenge for the Union victory by plotting Lincoln's assassination. Ford's Theater was the perfect place for Booth to stage his final performance. As a famous actor, Booth was friends with the owner. He had been in the theater's inaugural play. He even got his mail delivered there. Booth knew the place inside out. This was home turf. On the night he shot President Lincoln, he didn't even try to conceal his identity. He walked in the front door while the performance was still in progress, said hello to the people who recognized him, and then made his way to the hallway outside the president's private box. Presidential security back then was nothing like it is today. Lincoln generally traveled with 1 or 2 guards, and conveniently on this night, the man who was supposed to be guarding the door to the box wasn't even there. He left the theater to get a drink with some of his friends. So Booth peered through the peephole in the door that he's said to have drilled earlier that day to see inside. There was no guard inside the president's box, just Lincoln, his wife, and another couple. Booth had even memorized the play. He waited until the big laugh line. "Don't know the manners of good society, eh? Well, I guess I know enough to turn you inside out, old gal, you sockdologizing old man-trap." If Will Ferrell delivered that line today, you would still hear crickets. But in 1865, it brought the house down. When the big joke hit and everyone laughed, all Booth had to do was open the unlocked door, walk up behind the president, and shoot him. His deed done, Booth stabbed a military officer who tried to stop him as he leaped from the box to the stage, 11 feet below. Landing hard, Booth rose and delivered the last line he would ever speak on stage, the most famous line of his life. "Sic semper tyrannis," he cried, the Latin phrase making clear Booth's sentiments. Thus always to tyrants. Chaos erupted throughout the theater. Some say Booth broke his leg when he landed. On pure adrenaline, Booth ran out the stage door, mounted his waiting horse, and galloped into the night. History tells us that 2 weeks later, John Wilkes Booth was surrounded in a Virginia barn and killed by Union troops. Case closed. But for decades, Booth's family members have offered a different version of events. Joanne Hume, a distant relative of John Wilkes Booth, claims when she was a little girl, her mother shared with her the truth about how Booth died. They're going to say that he died in a barn. He did not die in a barn. He lived for many, many years. Booth, along with David Harold, a confidant and fellow Confederate sympathizer, fled on horseback through Maryland into Virginia. They were traveling at high speed, covering 14 miles in a matter of 2 hours, pausing to collect previously hidden weapons and supplies from the Surratt House, a tavern in Clinton, Maryland. Booth never got off his horse, and probably wasn't there for more than 5 minutes. But he did have enough time to boast that he had just killed the President of the United States. And why wouldn't he spike that football?